when we got down, I think, you know, as I look at that, I go, we could have, I think, you know, if we would have hustled and, you know, then gone up, but it's like being on top of King Street when there's the afternoon roller showing. You know, just sit here and it's not good. There was a little thunder as we got down, and I thought, probably not. But I do know how to do Gannett now, and I will do it the way I would do it. You don't know. So Gannett, the way to do it is you go in and you go into Tinker Basin, and then there's a little pass called Bonnie Pass. And I'll show you this. And Bonnie Pass, you go up and over, and see if I can bring this up. Okay. So Bonnie is like right here, and you skirt across the glacier, you know, so you need crampons across, and right here is the gooseneck. And there are two paths to Camden. They're high elevation paths. I mean, they're not big, because most of it's rock, but there's two flat places. And so you come in, you do a day somewhere between the Trailhead in Pinedale and Tinker Basin, and you stay the night. Next day, you go over Bonnie Pass, go across the glacier, and stay on one of those paths. And you're about, I want to say between 11 and 12. You wake up at 4 in the morning the next day. You go up. The only thing is, and when we did it, there's on the gooseneck, there's a bergschrund stair. So what you've got is the snow comes down, and then it just shears off, and it's about, I want to say 20 or 30 feet drop. But there happened to be a little snow bridge that was available on the top. I don't know if it's still. So we were able to get up, and we got up, and then we looked up on top of it, and the storm's coming. And so we said, but once you're there, that's the hard part. And then it's, you know, I don't know, we were 200 feet from the top or something like that. And it really wasn't that hard. We could have done it too. But it's, again, Liz was, my wife is like, I'm glad you looked into it. Yeah. You know, and things. So you leave your tent and things, go fast, and then come down, pick up your stuff, walk across the ice, Bonnie, stay the night, take them out. And so then we did the Poposia side, and kind of came in, and paid the tribe their fee, and we didn't go that far in because my daughter, I had two of my daughters backpacking with us, and they were like, I don't want to go much further, and we'll probably go fall. And then last year we did pack rafting. So pack rafting means 8-pound boats that we float. And we went Dragonfly, Square Top, and rafting. The problem with the Green River at that point is you've got, you know, it's like you go 150, 200 yards, and then you go quarters from the and then bring it around and things, and then we go there. But then once you're past kind of the forest, then you go into other things. And it's just kind of those meadows and things, and so it's really, pretty cool.
That's one of my favorite things is to be up in those high peaks. It's so beautiful.
That's right, you have some. How do you people make horses or I invited Nate one time to go, and he's a horse. He's a horseback. And it's like, okay. And that's fine. You know, everybody has their. Well, have you read anything from Andrew Sturka? So Andrew Sturka is probably
fine. I'll just keep it.
the greatest
no.
backpacker.
Hopefully he'll just say no.
Yeah. I mean, he's got. So his story is this is here. He's 38 years old. He did the Alaskan Yukon expedition, 6 months, 8,700. He's done the Great Western Route, 7 months, 6,075. Sea to sea route, it's across the United States and the winter. 7,775. He says only one of these three has been repeated, only once. And so, this he's pretty good. But he's written about ultralight backpacking. And the idea is this. We often will go backpacking. And for the first time, so he was a cross-country guy, and he was in finance, so he was thinking that he was going to go into finance. And all of the jobs back so all of his parents and his backpacking one job in 2001. Loads it up, he's got 55 pennies or something like that. Get a month. Just all his gear and started to reinvent himself. So I had everything.
There you go. I'll
And
just
so
look at that.
he then started to kind of think about, okay, how can I do this lighter? Because if you can go lighter, you're not going to have really much air. There's generally 40 pound packs or 50 pound packs. You wear yourself out.
But let me put the mics on. In fact, we don't need to open this.
I started to experiment. Okay, how do I go lighter and things like that? And so his pack started to become he could do routine, because he's cross-country, he was doing 25 miles.
So I need a couple extra.
And
You need
I don't
some more?
do 2,500. I'm not there. But, so, yeah, started to do, some of these groups and tours. The Alaskan one, which is pretty amazing, too, flies into this town called Pittsburgh. It's like on the Bering Sea in March. And he cross-country skis down to Juneau or outside of Juneau. And then by that time, the snow had melted and things and pack wrapped. And he had, like, at this point, he's got a food drop, and at this point, he's going to get this down. So we resupplies. I mean, he's doing things that I just don't have the means, the time, or the interest to do. He got to one point, and then he wrapped it there and back to Pittsburgh. And he became the National Geographic Adventure of the Year. And if you ever want a great YouTube, half an hour, his report of that was great. But he wrote a book called The Ultimate Hiker's Gear Guide. And he talks about how to do it lighter so that you're not, for instance, I was a big, I gotta get my hiking boots on. And he said, well, you can do that, but if you can get like trail runners that are much lighter and things, and I've gone that way. I haven't looked back. And I'm not carrying the, leather hooked boots my expense is a 492, and it's very kind my backpack was 6.5 pounds. It was a North Face. It was, other than the vest that was on, 12 years later, 13 years later, it was really pretty good condition. But it was 6.5 pounds. And I ended up selling it and sold it to I didn't have to keep up that holds quite a bit. But the point I'm trying to make is I was carrying an extra 4.5 pounds just in a backpack. And didn't realize that, wait a minute, that tires you out. And so if you ever get this is a really good book. I mean, it was, so I bought it, and I find it on the toilet seat in the way. So, and he, if you get the first edition, he's kind of like the ultralight thing. If you get the second edition, it's like hike your own hike. Here's some different things. We kind of differentiates between the hiker and the camp. Hikers and camping, hiking and camping are different. And some people, hey, you bring your home and whatever, trailer, and that's camping. And hiking is he also talks about types of fun. So type 1 fun is things that are fun to talk about.
You don't have a slide yet, do you, Jared?
Type 2 is
You don't have
it's
a-
not fun to do. It's fun to talk about afterwards.
Did you tell him?
And then type 3 is it's not fun to talk about, but it's fun
Okay.
to do. So, but yeah, this guy is just really, really good. So what he does now is he just teaches people how, how have 100 targets and three different heights in Alaska or West Virginia or and that's how you
Push the lightning.
Okay. Kind of like the other day when I was trying to get that thing off. I don't know.
Oh, Karen, do you have a minute?
Yeah, these things are, right now, I have yeah, make sure before the kind of pressures. Yeah, that's great.
One of our favorite things to do is we have somebody take us up into the woods, somewhere.
This, what's it gonna do? Let's just do the highline to that road, underground, do I just, I can't afford that more. Most of it's up,
Good. So my nephew is probably like,
Hello.
he's working for a firm at Bobcat.
Hello.
He's doing interior design. You should have had him call you. Should have had him call you.
Don't know.
Just, he said anything. He told me about the Native Americans in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, and refugees in the trigger. I had a cousin who did not live. He just died.
Oh, really?
So we had this chair, it was cotton, cotton crate. Nice chair. Time passes. We get all kinds of, we never told them that and you should make a choice on that, because that's what this is.
How are you?
There was this, like, pattern in this fabric. It was made of metal. And it seemed to see that. And so he said, well, it's done. And sent me the bill. This is with the discount. We didn't say anything because you don't say anything to somebody like that. But it's like, so. I think you have the most expensive chair in Massachusetts.
Mr. Ely, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
This is like, so she wrote the letter.
Hi, Scott.
Hi, Sherry.
How are you?
Good yourself?
Good.
So,
I can put those up for the board if you'd like.
Okay.
There's a couple that aren't here tonight.
So that one's been scored with 15 seconds
Okay.
tied up
where at?
in Starville.
Is it? Yeah, they're playing soccer. So what's the score?
I got the 1-1, 15 seconds at us
Oh, really?
to tie it up. So now it's in overtime.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna print them and put them in the file with the rest of it.
Yeah.
Just throw them 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
I think that's what he wanted.
There.
I hope.
I sure hope so.
Still it is, sir.
It's a nice stroke there. Yeah.
Probably not so much. Evanston was, they were jumping quite high.
Is this the one where you say this? Okay. So what's actually going on? Now. There's actually two reports that are stacked up.
Yeah, thank you for doing
And one
that.
is home. So if you were to close one, so now go up into that star. Read your bookmark, kind of, whatever you want, change that.
Yeah. I know.
It's good, isn't it? Now, wherever that bookmark is. Very good.
Or during COVID, I've gotten some home. I've plenty of this meeting, so I wasn't disappointed. And it was good.
City like
Let's
it.
go up to the sun.
Then he gets old. He gets old.
So, and it'll take you. So.
Some of the hard things that we're still trying to figure out, so it's just kind of.
Yeah.
It's great. However you want to do it. I'm good.
So you can, the way
I'll catch you in July.
I just signed my initials.
It didn't show up.
Surprise, surprise.
I knew when he said that, I shouldn't have passed it on.
It's not like I was knocking at your door saying, hey, where is this?
So they can they talk?
Yeah, they can end it in tight. They go into an
I
overtime
figured we
period.
did it by Friday.
I'm not sure how long that
Yeah.
period is. I think it might be 6 pages. And then, I think it's 15 minutes or 6 minutes. But it could end in tight.
Getting any calmer, you're gonna use the AED there.
Just so you know, we're limiting everybody to 5 minutes today, so the presentation needs to be 5 minutes.
You can time me.
Okay.
We have that.
Oh, you're really close.
way, Darren, you failed last time. I heard.
But they started asking questions, it shouldn't count if they started asking questions.
Oh, we timed before.
I only had 6 slides, didn't I, Sherry?
About that, yeah.
So,
Should we cross on that?
no.
You tried to address 4 departments, not one.
Yeah. Should be 4 presentations.
Oh, way up there. You know, I'm not about this. You put it on your and then you don't have to hold it up, you know, it just sticks.
That allows you to drill down.
Jared, you should have quit before you started.
I'll
They're gonna
remember
hammer
that.
you for that.
I'll remember that next year.
That allows you to keep. when you
Just say,
drill,
you all received it beforehand, do you have any questions?
There you go.
Thank you.
information there. And I want,
Good, Brian would like that.
or you can say, I'm giving
Hold
you
that off.
all of this, all
I
of
wasn't
this.
sure last year, it was kind of like, well, there really isn't anything else
So
to
it
add.
opens up. by-
What I said to you.
I'm good, how are you, Sherry?
He said, well, then it was done.
All the students, and you can say, regardless of class, so teacher. Let's see, I think that's the list.
This one is for no money,
Yes, it's only
Yeah.
Just give me money and
Satan ready for the end of the year?
I think so.
Yeah.
Once he gets through the musical this weekend.
Yeah. It's a lot of
That's
stress.
been like all
Yeah.
he does for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So,
That's my.
It's almost like you need to make an appointment to see him, right?
pretty much. Yeah, I finally saw him at like 10:45 last night for
Oh.
like 10 minutes. It's,
You're glad they're active and busy, but it's hard too.
it is, yeah.
I know I've thought about that.
Nobody's watching.
Yeah, out real nice. That one.
Yeah.
So they can't see us?
They don't see any distance. But they can hear. Cheers. Right now.
Howdy. Hey.
Has got 7 grades in the system. Right. So this is here. This is, it houses, trades. So half of these grades, more than half, of these. So this right here, this is a pie chart. And so it was grades as far as like boundary, and it was just like, so it's in all of these. So we're gonna have to dial in just a little bit. So, now, now I see this is looking at 46. Okay, so, and I would just keep it a sense. So, to clear something, you go back into this right here. Now, why softball? These are, whoever has the most player system gets more of it. So, it could be the seniors have
Hey.
more.
Hey, Chris.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Good.
AYSO.
Now, you say, hey,
Is it gonna happen again this year?
So, we moved away from AYSO and just now have Evanston Youth Soccer. But yes, it's happening. I'm just not in charge.
So if I'm gonna register, I'm gonna register.
Like Toronto, yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to remember the exact website to go to, but Brian Bridges is in charge.
Okay.
Any information you might need.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Met a fella the other day.
Yeah. She's nervously excited.
That would be a good way to describe it
Right.
for most kids.
Right.
What's Aiden doing?
He's never home, ever. I was just telling Sherry, I saw him for like 10 minutes last night, at like 10:45.
So it's just, think of an area chart.
School musical and
So what's he playing in the musical?
he's Perchik. So
Remind me.
he is, he's the guy who comes to town and causes trouble by telling them all that they don't have to follow what they were always told to
Oh,
follow.
one of the daughter Marys.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, yep.
Perfect. Has
So,
it started?
first performance is Thursday. There's Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, and then there's a matinee Saturday afternoon. But, yeah, dress rehearsals this week. I haven't seen him. Didn't see him much last week. So, and he went straight from speech and debate season to musical season, so.
No, tell him to break a leg.
Will do.
Okay, take care.
Thanks.
Those are some nice suspenders.
So I hear it all went well.
Yeah, I mean, we wish we would have had more people on Saturday, but
Right.
That's why there's a.
we got, I think, over $1,000.
Just so there's.
Well, that's good. That's what Aiden was saying, that he thought it was a little over that, so. That's good.
Yeah.
Made more than last year, or not, guess last year you didn't really make much of
Yeah.
anything.
So I think it was good.
Yeah,
Aiden's work was awesome.
5.5 on that.
that's good.
So,
Deal. He said that more people showed up for like the esports tournament than, he said that a lot of people actually showed up to play Smash Brothers or something.
we got like 30 people who showed up
Yeah.
for Smash Brothers, so maybe we had a bit more for the carnival, like overall the entire
Yeah.
thing, but, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I think it was a good start for a tradition, I guess,
All right, good deal.
so.
And then the pageant thing is next week? Is that the deal?
It's gonna be in 2 weeks, actually.
Oh,
Moving
okay.
around. It's gonna be the 18th.
Cool.
But that's our plan. We'll talk to Brian Lichty about those sponsors.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So,
I let him know that somebody would be getting in touch with him,
okay,
so.
sounds good. And thank you so much, like,
Oh,
without you, this wouldn't have happened, so.
yeah. Well, my pleasure. I'm always happy to help out with that kind of stuff, so.
Like, it helps so much, so.
We called, tell her the funding has changed, you're asking, sorry.
Show me your plan.
It's a pretty picture.
It was funny.
John and I have a special relationship.
And then he comes in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, Chris, yours, and it's yours.
John, that was our
Just-
secret.
Got it up there? Okay.
Not anymore.
I'll tell you, when I get those words from Matt Williams, it is, I'm sorry, it's just a pleasure. I don't think I've ever gotten them.
I'm gonna blush, so we'll put this on now.
So there already started the plans? and-
Sheila, did you get some good pictures?
I think so, yeah.
To have it
For the, while I was able to stay, it's been one of those crazy
No, I get it. They're in the pool right now.
days.
When they play basketball, they ran anywhere from a 25 meter to a 800 meter.
Oh, wow.
And now they're swimming laps, so.
Cool. Good for
Kind of an
them.
Iron Man event situation.
Awesome.
Iron Woman.
That's cool. They looked like they were having fun.
Oh, it's such a good pair of kids.
Yeah.
You know, if you ever get a chance at the state events,
Mm-hmm.
they have a big banquet on the first night or second night, I can't remember. And then there is a monstrous dance.
Oh, really?
And I tell you what, that is how dances should be.
Should
held.
be.
Nobody has all, there's no like wallflowers, it's just everybody's like, come here, come out here.
Really?
It's just this big,
That's
awesome
awesome.
dance
I was like,
that way.
that was
It does us so good to see that.
I would imagine so.
That's pretty.
That's cool.
But it's completely packed. Both times I've been there, it's just completely, it's a shame to have it already done.
Absolutely. They said they recommend they have it in the state. Unless they completely redesigned it, or rebuilt it. Can't have them do it then.
I'm pretty impressed I got one. Taken over to me.
That's gonna be a really good thing for gas hot. Gas rates. 45 hours minimum. Say how,
Yeah.
you can go to Billings, you can go to Fort Collins. Fort Collins is looking at it. Denver was. We are,
Yeah, that was very good. I was, it's hard to do this one, but I do think it's a very good idea. See, oh man, that's brutal. I don't want to do that. But from what I heard, it was very good. Oh, thank you. Good job. I mean, you can. Yeah.
Doing good.
Sorry about that, folks. All right. Hey, I'm on time if there's no
Well, comment ended on the 30th.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, everyone, for being patient with us. I do need a motion to come out of executive closed session. So moved. Okay, a motion by Jenny, a second by Krista. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are ready for our regular session. Welcome, everyone. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Welcome, everybody. It's kind of, spring is in the air, and here we go. All right. First motion I need is a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Did you get those? David and I think Dan?
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is our consent agenda items. We have 3 items on the consent agenda: the minutes from April 13th, the payment of bills, and the approval for the purchase of the Evanston High School choir risers. Do we have a motion, or does anybody in the public or the board want to remove any of those items from the consent agenda? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Jenny and David.
Yeah, there you go. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Open that on Justin.
We do have some presentations this evening. First, let's start with the budget. This is the Parks and Recs budget. So come on down, Scott.
Oh, my.
Good evening. You can start my timer. Hi, I'm Scott Ehlers. I'm from the Evanston Parks and Rec. And I've got just a couple things real quickly. I would like to pass along the annual report that we do each year. And inside that annual report, there's a massive amount of information. But what we're the most proud of in that annual report is that the marriage, so to speak, between the school district and the rec center is tremendous. It's really, really, really good. And, you know, we offer a lot of different things up at the rec center, obviously. And we also try to help all the kids as much as school district does, as well as adults. And we share everything. You know, it's fun to watch your kids come up and use the rec center. You know, because there's middle school kids that come up and they're out there playing, and it's just, it's really a good thing. The traveling team thing, although it does have its moments, it's still a good thing. And so I just want to thank you all for everything that you do for us, as well as what we can do for everybody else.
Appreciate it. We need each other, and it
Yes, we
works.
It's really a great
Yeah.
thing.
Thanks very much. Anybody have any other questions?
Oh, did you have anything else, Scott?
Just one more thing.
Okay.
And then I also passed along the operating agreement. And what that operating agreement does, it should be separate, I think.
Sure is, yeah.
It's just opposite of the annual report, but what it does is an agreement between what we do for y'all as well as what you do for us.
Correct.
And it varies all the way from mowing aspen to your kids coming our direction, and it's just what we do each and every year.
And I'm assuming you're going to want us to levy that $1 million that you get.
That would be great. I probably wouldn't turn that down.
We'll see what we can do.
I would appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And that's really, if you have any questions, I'd love to throw them at, answer them, but if not, that's okay too.
Nice job, thank you for the use of the
all of it.
the green space down there by the overpass,
much, yeah.
and it's turned out very useful for the soccer program as we can get through it, so.
Well, you know, this year was so weird just because of COVID and because of the pool, and, you know, there was a lot more sharing than normal, but it worked.
Well, and something that got brought up, I think, at the city council that I don't know if the school board knows about, and I don't really know who's responsible for it, but I guess there was a parking issue with some of the games.
Right.
Is that something that we're required to take care of, or that falls on the city?
That
or-
would be us.
That would be...
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
AYSO games.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep. Yeah, that's all us.
okay.
Well, again, thank you very much, and we'll, I think we adopt this as part of the budget, or do it
Madam Chair,
tonight?
members of the board, this is on the consent agenda for June.
For the June, okay. I knew it wasn't tonight.
Right.
Thank you, Scott.
One more thing.
Scott?
Oh,
Okay.
wait, Dave's got one more thing.
Okay.
Next time you address us, make sure you're in red,
Purple.
not purple.
Dave's got
I'm telling you, I know your background, you should not be wearing that color.
It's true. Because I don't bleed purple.
No, you don't wear
Oh, thank you very much,
That's a good
Scott.
point, though.
Okay, unless anybody else has more views, there you go. Morgan, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay, next we have a video presentation by Caden Wiley, senior project. You mean he's not done yet?
Well, he's at the
No,
soccer
this is for
meet.
next year.
Oh, this is, okay.
So who's speaking on his behalf, or we're just gonna show him? Yeah, he's got, like I said, I think he's a soccer kid, and I think they're in Star Valley today, so that's why he's not here.
Jared has it.
Oh, Jared's got it, good.
Okay, is he with us? Is he?
Yeah, I got him, I just want to make sure everyone's ready, and hopefully you can, is this? Okay. Hello. Ready?
We're ready.
Hello everyone, my name is Caden Wiley, and I'd first like to take the time to thank you all for letting me take time out of your school board meeting to present my project with you guys. It's a new project that is, and this new project will be to raise money to renovate the football stadium, hopefully turn it into a track, turf, soccer, and football stadium. Hopefully renovate the track as well. I would like to share my screen with you guys at this time. Yes. To present my project. On this first slide, I will be talking about what I will be doing. I plan to start fundraising to renovate the EHS football stadium. Like I said, I will oversee the marketing and fundraising for my senior project. The estimated cost is about $2.9 million to renovate it. But as you can see on the left picture here, this is what we have. This is what our varsity soccer players are playing on right now. And on the picture on the right is the Rock Springs Stadium, and that is what they're playing on. As you can see, there's a little bit of a difference. Also, that is what every other 4A school has, is a turf stadium like Rock Springs. On April 26th, I sent out a Google form to UCSD1 staff and all EHS students to collect data to see if my plan had any support. And 3 days later, on the 29th, I received a total of 142 responses. The first question we asked was, would you support the renovations for a $2.9 million bid? And we had 42 responses, as I said, and 87% said that they would support. And 48% said that they knew someone outside of the district that would support as well. The next question we asked was, would you donate any money to the project? 77% said yes, they would. And the total was $33,000, $33,329. My plan for fundraising is to use a website called Give Butter. It is like GoFundMe, but for nonprofit organizations. It has a small amount of fees. My mom is creating a nonprofit organization named Evanston Activities Foundation. That will connect that we will collect the donations to this. Once we have all the money, then we will then donate that money to the UCSD1. Give Butter will give a link QR code that takes the donor right to the donation page. It uses PayPal, Google Pay, Venmo, and credit cards. My plan for fundraising is, as individuals and businesses and companies donate to the NPO through Give Butter website, they will receive a tax write-off that will give them money back. We are hopeful to have the nonprofit organization established by hopefully July or August. That way I will be able to start marketing for this at the beginning of the next school year. We will also be creating an incentive that if a company or individual or business donates over $10,000, they will receive a plaque with their name on it that will be displayed on the press box. I will also be looking into grants to see if we can get any money from those. One that I have already looked into a little bit is Daniels. Another part of my marketing will be going to local businesses like my local radio and New Hampshire County Herald to ads, and especially on the radio to broadcast that out to the rest of the state, and maybe in the Uinta County Herald, even writing an article about our campaign. I will make flyers and put them out at sporting events, and if I get permission, put them up in local businesses. I will create a Instagram account and a Facebook account to advertise for this as well, and hopefully get the Give Butter URL and QR code on our school website. I will then, after that, send out an email to the district that will encourage them to share this link and QR code with everyone they know, even outside of the district, with anyone who they would know would donate to the project. After we get all that started and donations start coming in, I will create a display progress board that will show the progress of the fundraising. I will ask Mr. Lester if we can display the board at the entrance of EHS. And that is it. I would like to thank you all for letting me take time out of your meeting again, and go Red Devils.
All right. And he's not here for us to talk to him, but that's all right. Tell him he did a good job.
He did. Will do.
And let's hope he raises money, that'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Send the old text there.
There you go. Yeah, tell him he did a great job. All right, we have some curriculum reports. First is K through 5.
This was no battery. Put it between his stuff.
Go for it.
Madam Chair, members of the board, we thank you for the opportunity that we have to present. We're going to present together. So a lot of what we do is K-12, and so we wanted to make sure and do that. Keep this concise, but at the same time give you an opportunity to ask some questions if you have questions to ask as we go through and at the end of our presentation. So initially, we thought it was important again for us to discuss and point out some of the advantages and possibly disadvantages of maybe some of our structure that we have. As you know, we have 2 assistant superintendents. Many districts our size have an HR director, they have an assistant superintendent, some of them have a curriculum director and a superintendent. So when you look at what we did, it's really just a division of labor, and looking at the areas that both of us have more of our expertise in, more of our professional career in. So as you look, that those things that come with an HR stamp on them for K-5 come to me. Those that go 6-12 go to Mr. Rigby, so it's a really nice line. However, there are times where I may be in the office and there's a 6-12 situation that comes that I then take and deal with, and Doug as well has covered for me in that situation. When you really look at one of the advantages, when Ryan initially approached Mr. Rigby and myself, he said, I really wanted to utilize your level of expertise and where you come from, and both of you as we begin to move forward with this work, which really intrigued me. When we look at that division of labor, a lot of what we do, we plan even together. I'll go to him and say, hey, here's what we're doing at the elementary, 6-12 as well, so that there's cohesiveness. It isn't just, okay, here's K-5, and then I don't care what 6-12 is doing in the same thing. We built a real cohesive plan. We meet with the principals separately, but we also meet with the principals together as a way to draw upon the strengths of our leadership team and to really build upon that. So when you look at those advantages, we know the grade span, and we also know the people. I know some of the people at the K-12 or at the 6-12, but I don't know them to the same level that Mr. Rigby does, and vice versa, as we look at the K-5 situation. But we did want to start out with that, as well as a reminder for the board and some of your new members of the board of why that decision was even made 5 years ago. I think with the work that we've done and some of what we are seeing with the work that we are doing as a district, and you'll see today, I think it was a wise decision. And my hope would be that, that's not a good sign. My hope would be that you would recognize, and we always support one another as well, so I'll just continue. I hope that, that wasn't a planned thing, I'm sure we had this all planned out. But I hope that you would recognize really the advantage of that, and as people ask you questions, because there will be people in the community, and they may have already asked, why do we have that?
We structured a lot. We cut a lot out of administration and dumped it on you guys.
And it's been a really great ride, so to speak, and we've both really enjoyed that, and continue to work hard in both of those capacities. So, questions around that? This next piece is really a thank you to our staff, our leadership team, our superintendent, for the leadership that's been provided through this year. We had the WASPA conference, which is Wyoming Association of School Personnel Associates, here that we housed, and that was last Thursday and Friday. One of the things as we did that, a presenter came from Ohio. His kids still haven't gone back to school. They were still struggling of whether they're even going to go back this year, and he was surprised to find out that we have been going to school all year, and it has been a spreader event. We've done some really great things. We know this, that we have teachers who came to school who may have had health conditions, who came to school with probably some anxiety about that, but they came, and they gave to us 100%. We continue to wear masks, and we continue to do that. We're grateful for the support that we've received from our community, who has said, you know what, we're grateful that our kids are in school. We're thankful that we were able to do activities. We're thankful, as I look at each one of you, we continue to wear our masks in public and continue to make that a part of what we do. But our success is dependent upon the success of those that we work with. And we're grateful for the opportunity that we have each day to work with the people that we do. Sorry, Mr. Rigby. You're good. To that next one. You're good. So this next piece is really around the K-12 curriculum. As I talked about, we spend a lot of time together joint planning. It isn't a separation where 6-12, I have no idea what's going on, or K-5. We do a lot of planning together and put our heads together. I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with somebody and to bounce ideas off of, and to really set that strategic planning that we have for curriculum. And it is a K-12 curriculum. Sometimes people would think, well, if we don't have one person who's over that, we're going to have a lot of splintering, but we just have not had that. In fact, we're probably more cohesive now than we've been, and as far back as I can remember. I've been here, this is my 14th year. Mr. Rigby's been here 23, 24 years, and very cohesive as we begin to move forward. Collaborative teams continue to do the work of collaborative teams. Later we'll talk about some work that we're doing around a competitive grant, but we have some outside groups who are looking and assisting us with that grant process, and they say this: you are doing PLCs the way they need to be done. You're not just saying you're doing PLCs. And that comes about, you'll see in a lot of the results that we're seeing through not only YTOP, but other test scores and the things that we're seeing with kids. Kids are being successful because of the work that we're doing around that whole PLC process, and the work that we'll talk about here in a minute around the high reliability schools that you have approved and we're moving forward with. Unit planning is part of the process. The elementary, the first week out of school, we'll bring our elementary teams with representatives from all over the district. We invite every teacher to come and participate. We pay them the PD rate for that particular day, which is $100 to come and to actively be engaged in that process. They'll do that work for a week. It's reviewing and revising and revamping and making it better and better every year. Also at individual grade level teams, not only K-5 but 6-12, you'll note that they then do a detailed plan around that umbrella plan that you see on the website. So it really enhances that guaranteed and viable curriculum. Starts there with the essential standards, and then based upon the individual needs at the individual schools, they then build upon that, and it really has been a very cohesive situation. The proficiency skills are developed. That's really a learning progression from what a child needs to be able to do and building to proficiency, which we call a level 3. And as they do that, it's really a breakdown of our essential standards, which have been identified across the district. And it's not just something that we dreamed up here at the district office or met with the principals and said these are important. We really looked at that, and it was a whole process that was involved, and we integrated people across the district in making those decisions. So really our curriculum is where it starts where it's supposed to start, from the ground up. It's not something that starts from the district office and is pushed down. Common assessments are very important. That's part of every grade level team, and the work that they do. They give those assessments, they determine how the kids did, they decide what do we do with those kids who have learned, what do we do to those kids who haven't learned, and they provide in-day structured interventions for those kids on both sides of that. There are student tracking systems. You notice that the elementary report card is K-5. It is standards-based. When you look at it, it's based upon the standards, written in kind of I can statements, so it is a little more friendly to our parents, but it's based upon those standards. That's what we're handing to parents and giving them the opportunity to see that student by student, skill by skill, standard by standard. And then we have a tiered system of support to intervene when students are struggling. And that's happening each day, and it's built in. We call it Tier 2, Tier 3, and we're really striving to get better at that each day. The key to what we do K-12, every student receives on grade level instruction every day. Now that's a change. That's not always been the case. We believe that, our principals believe that, our teachers believe that now. So every student gets on grade level instruction every day, regardless of whether they have maybe an IEP or some reading challenges or math difficulties, etc. They get on grade level instruction. We believe strongly in that, and our schedules will weigh that out. So
the only thing that I would add is that the proof is in the pudding. And quite honestly, our teachers and our students right now are knocking it out of the park. We can't go into specific test scores because we can't release those. We probably won't be able to release them until August, to be honest with you. But we do get results right away. As soon as the students are done, we can actually look on the teacher pages and see the results. And we're seeing just incredible scores from our students, groups of students, and what it comes back to is the outstanding work that our teachers are doing in their collaborative teams that they're doing around curriculum. That guaranteed curriculum, again, the number one thing, if you want to improve schools, the number one thing you do is you have a guaranteed curriculum. So, we talked about this previously, HRS Level 2, right? So that's our next level of certification for high reliability schools. Again, the idea, going back 5 years ago, the idea was not to make it about Ryan Thomas or me or Dr. Ingalls. The whole idea behind high reliability schools is it's an evidence-based school improvement framework, right? It's not Doug saying, hey, you need to do this next, or any one of us. It's really about this is what great schools do, and there's a framework and there's a roadmap to get there. And that's what's important. And so High Reliability Schools Level 2 is really about effective instruction in every classroom. You can see each of the 6 different indicators there. Who wouldn't want that in their schools? Right? Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want teachers to have job-embedded professional development? Research would tell you that's the number one way. If you want teachers to improve, you provide them professional development in the job that they're doing. They can take it and apply it right away. That's why we bring people into our district to work with our teachers instead of sending folks out for a 1 or 2 day workshop. Now we do some of that stuff, but they do it as teams, right? Not as individuals. So, if you have any questions about High Reliability Schools Level 2, we're on pace. Schools will be getting certified in that next year. They can get certified as early as September, October, up until May of next year.
The fact that we've been able to stay on track with that through this last year, I'll say it again, wow.
We have pushed it, right?
That was a goal that was set. We said, are you sure? But everybody kept, said, yeah, we were committed to doing this.
Absolutely. And quite honestly, it fits right in with the teacher evaluation team that the teacher committee selected. And so all of that stuff fits together. It's really, I wish we could say that we've planned every bit of this, but quite honestly, again, if you follow a strong framework, you're going to have great results. Doc, you have anything?
No, not at this time. On to the next slide. Well, maybe one piece. If you think about the FTEM evaluation system, there might be people throughout the country who'd say, you guys were insane to do that during a year after COVID and not knowing what you're going to get into, but we felt strongly. The administrative team said, no, we need to continue to move ahead because that's what's going to increase effective instruction in every classroom every day. And so our principals were willing to take that on. We were willing to take it on, and our teachers were willing to take it on. It's been a lot of work for them in addition to the most unusual year that most of them have ever had in their career, or hopefully will ever have in their career as we move forward. But how important that was for us to do that and to say, no, we are going to do this. Even some of our colleagues in the state kind of give us that raised-eyed look like, you guys really did that? Okay. But it's been what's kept us moving ahead, kept us moving forward. So. The next is consolidated grants. This is a part of our jobs that, it's embedded into the work that we do. We receive, and you can see each of those amounts highlighted in kind of a maroon color. Title 1A, Mr. Rigby and I are both over different aspects of that consolidated grant, but they're all federal dollars that come into our district. Title 1A is really, as you can see, equal and significant opportunity for at-risk students. That can be defined as low socioeconomic as well as disadvantaged in other areas or other means. And you can see it's distributed based upon the needs of a school. There's a formula that comes out of the state. We received this year overall as a district a little over $1 million just in Title 1A. That goes to the 4 elementary schools. It's divided out again based upon that need, based upon that formula that comes from the state. We can pull some dollars off the top of it a little bit, but then it's distributed equally based on that formula. So.
Title 1A, the school improvement. So there's some irony here. Horizon Alternative School is an exemplar school in the state of Wyoming because the state of Wyoming separates accountability for alternative schools and traditional high schools. Federal does not do that, right? So at the state, they're an exemplary school based on all of the different matrix, but as a federal school, it's lumped in with all of the other high schools, and so it's a school in need of improvement. Well, as part of that, you get federal dollars. It comes out to be about $58,000 a year.
And the next piece is our Title III, which is ELL, and the work that we do around ELL. We utilize those for staffing, purchase services, as well as providing supplies and materials for those students. You can see it's not, in the overall scheme of things, it's not a lot, but it's money that is set aside specifically for that particular purpose and that development. And we have a tremendous ELL, I'll say department, for the lack of a better term, kindergarten through 12th grade, and they do a really incredible job in making sure that our students receive what they need. And if you look, we are above the matrix of the state every single year with our ELL population and the work that they're doing there.
So Title IIA for teacher professional development, and that's what we spend all of it on, and we spend it all on our teachers. I mean, there's a little bit that goes to administrators because they're being trained alongside the teachers, but literally this was one of the biggest changes when 5 years ago, this funding went to all of our teachers, and so we literally spend $473,000 on teacher professional development. Sometimes we'll have folks say, well, in a budget year, in a budget crunch, how are we hiring consultants? How are we hiring these people to come in and work with our teachers? It's through this grant. It's not through general fund. And that money, if we don't spend it on teacher to professional development, we give it back. And the last thing you want to do is give federal money back. So it's important that you guys know that, because you may get questions on that. I get questions about it, right, from teachers in my group. They're like, hey, why are we doing all of this? That money, that's what it's there for. Okay? Perkins, I have a love-hate relationship with Perkins. For $75,000, it occupies an awful lot of my time. The grant reporting is ridiculous. It's one of the most difficult grants to actually stay in compliance in, but we do great things with it. We were talking about, we bought a baler with that money this last year, and I've actually applied for another $22,000. We got $25,000 on top of that for a cutting-edge grant that went to a mobile welder and a portable sandblasting machine that our auto shop and our welding teachers share. I just applied for another $22,000 for, we'll see if we get it, but it's basically a career essentials program through Skills USA. Number one thing that we get from our partners is we need kids to come out with job-ready skills, right? The soft skills. And that's what this program does. And I'm also part of, through this, I'm also part of the Southwest Wyoming Next Gen Partnership for Manufacturing. Well, guess what they want? Soft skills, right? So it's a big effort across all Southwest Wyoming schools. I just happen to be the lone K-12 educator that was at that meeting, so of course, what do I get saddled with? Southwest Wyoming Manufacturing Career Essentials. So we're going to be looking at that. I asked our vocational teachers to work on that this last Monday, and I haven't had a chance to even follow up.
You've got a team, Doug. You've got a team.
I know. But you know what? That's the reality. Is that's one of the things that you guys all know. That's one of the things that you see as well in the work that you do. Is getting people to show up on time, do what they're asked to do. Take initiative, right? All of those different things, those career-ready skills, that's what that program will focus on. And it's a 6-12 approach. So, all right, sorry. Go for it.
No, thanks. The last part we put in here because it has to do with the state that we applied for. Last night we submitted it to the WDE. They received a $43 million grant from the federal government and then distributed out in individual grants to districts through a competitive application process. It's called the Wyoming Believing in Literacy Together grant, and because of the work that we've done, K-12, pre-K through 12, and some of what we already have in place, we really looked at our consultants and got some assistance in filling this grant out because we didn't really qualify because we're so much further beyond what the constructs of this particular grant were. So through that process, what they're trying to sell is, let's use this as a model district that other school districts can learn from, and let's see what we can do to take it to the next level. The next level really is an emphasis on that whole idea of cohesive approach from pre-K through 12th grade, training staff and especially training our paraprofessionals in meeting the needs of our students. Sometimes that's a group that we ask to do a lot, and at times we don't provide them the level of training that they need to fulfill the responsibilities that we're giving them. They do a great job, don't get me wrong, but all of us can receive a little more training, a little more boost. The amount you can see there is $1.8 to $2 million over a 3-year period of time, and I don't know when the decision-making process will be, but we'll bring that forward and have more of a presentation for you, depending on what the results are of their decision as a committee at the state level. So, the next one is human resources, and we have a tremendous administrative assistant. Christine Hayduck is a gem. And as we look at our HR department, she really is the face of our HR department. That's who you see when you first come in. She does a great job with public relations. She answers questions. She answers them efficiently. If she doesn't know an answer, she'll find a way to get that answer from us. She really is kind of the glue that keeps that all together as we move forward. So needed to give a shout out to her right away as we move forward. When we look at COVID leave, if you remember, up through December 31st of the year, we were asked to give 10 paid days to staff for COVID leave. As a district, and thank you to you and your decision-making as the decision-making body in our state or our district, our COVID leave, we extended that beyond. And what we didn't want is our staff to further just get added on with the burden. Let's say you already had your 10 days because you had a 14-day quarantine, and then one of your kids get it. Now you're at another 4. Pretty soon you're running out of leave days. We're grateful for your decision in us being able to allow that. Here's what the result of that was: 1,231 days total that we could track directly just to COVID leave that was really given to teachers without consequence. And truly, that would have been a consequence for them, because they would have then used their leave, and it would have just been a disaster. To us, that's what a caring organization does, and that's representative of what you allowed us to do as an HR department in extending that. The total amount from that is roughly about $76,380. To me, $76,380 given to a staff to get through a pandemic that happens once every 100 years is just a little bit to give. So thank you, and I know that our staff, I know they're appreciative of that, and they've said that over and over as we've moved through this. So any questions on that first COVID leave piece? The next one is our district branding and hiring and retention. We continue to, our goal is to hire the best. We received some additional training from a national really organization that's all about HR, and that whole idea of hiring and retention, and we will begin to continue to implement our best practices to find those absolute best people out there. You have to go mining. You have to get out and meet people and spend a lot of time. We have a really good recruiting department. It's a department of a few of us, and we go out and we try to let people know this is Uintah County School District #1, and we're doing some great things. We are able to attract some of the best and brightest out of the University of Wyoming, especially these last few years, who come to the Uintah County School District #1 because, one, the people that they've met and recruiting opportunities, but also what they see and what they hear. They're university professors who are talking about Uintah County School District #1 and saying, hey, if you get an opportunity, you really need to look at this particular district. We're updating job descriptions. That's a continual process, as you know. We're aligning our evaluation system with the FTEM. There's a support staff piece that goes with that. We're moving forward with that next, once we get the teacher and school leadership.
When are you doing all the teacher, I mean, you're going to have that done by the end of the year?
Oh, yeah, it's, in fact, most of them are done now,
Okay.
so, they've done incredible things, and the principals, we knew it was going to be a little messy, and love the messaging that the principals gave as the instructional leader said, you know what, I'm learning and you're learning. We know it's going to be a little messy, but we're going to do the best that we can so that we can all learn and grow in this process. My compliments to our instructional leadership, who have done an incredible job with that. And I know I speak for Mr. Rigby as well in that. Paraprofessional training, we talked about the grant, as well as the professional development that we're continuing to offer and try to offer. We love the, call HR kind of thing. Obviously, that wasn't necessarily positive, but we think it's pretty positive, so please, call HR if you need some help.
All right. So accreditation, as you guys know, going back to high reliability schools, if you're a high reliability schools district, then you cut out 80% to 90% of the whole state accreditation process. And so this is our year for the on-site visit, and quite honestly, again, 80% of that is gone. It's taken care of through the high reliability schools process. All that we have to do is show that we have a district assessment system that's aligned to the Wyoming Content and Performance Standards. We had our pre-meeting on Monday morning. It's Joel Dvorak. Those of you that have been around, he was a superintendent in Casper, Natrona for several years, a long time ago. Great guy. And basically, when we talked to him, he's like, you guys are golden. So we have our final review on May 17th, and we're going to get teacher teams involved in some of that so that they can share the great work that they're doing. So anyway, it's really a great process, and we have a lot of just awesome stuff to share. And then, the last thing, you guys are in charge of a learning organization. That's what we do. That's who we are. We continue to move forward because that's what we have to do. If we truly believe that it's about all kids and getting all kids to learn at high levels, at grade level or beyond, then we have to continue to learn every single day. And so that's what I love about my job, is I'm learning something every day. I have the great opportunity to be able to go into these 612 classrooms and meet with these collaborative teams, and I am amazed every single day that I get the opportunity to do that. And so appreciate the opportunity to do this job, appreciate the opportunity to work with the people that I do, so thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Any questions? Questions that you might have?
No, I mean, really, the only question I had was the implementation of the new evaluation system and how that went, and, look, everybody knows it was going to be rough, and there were, I'm sure some opinions
Growing
along the way.
pains.
The beauty of it is, that it aligns so seamlessly with the work that we're doing. If you're doing unit plans, you're working on curriculum in your collaborative teams, it's all so well aligned. It's an evidence-based system. It's actually a growth system, and we're working on making sure that message is, you know what, one time a year it's an evaluation system, the rest of the year it's a growth system.
Right.
And again, going back to the learning organization, you can be rock solid, you can be whatever the highest level is, distinguished or whatever that may be, right? But you can look through the different pieces of evidence and be like, yeah, I'm doing awesome, but I could still get better. I could still add this to my bag of tricks and become even a better teacher. And that's what we love about the system itself.
Great. Thank you guys very, very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, let's see, what do we have next? We are down to our discussion items. First on the list is budget. Mr. Williams, Mr. Thomas, who's talking to us?
I think both of us. Let me try to get to where I need to get. We have things to show you if you want it, or we don't. In terms of a draft budget, I thought it would be good to have John up here to answer your questions. Where we are with the budget is we're actually in pretty good shape.
I never thought I'd hear those words.
I say that because of where we've spent the last 6 to 8 months. This summer, when they started recalibration and they threw out the $100 million cut, John and I actually started back then looking at an 8.5% cut, which we told you about, which that would impact us because of declining enrollments and what was projected. Everyone knows by now that the legislature could not agree to a budget funding, education funding bill, and so it reverted back to last year's. The previous biennium was a budget session, and so they'd actually put some things in for the 21-22 school year. They'll take effect. They hurt us a little bit, but help us a little bit in terms of increases to certain components of that funding formula. So if you look at some of the information provided by LSO, LSO is the legal service office that provides estimates to the legislature. We don't always follow their estimates. We think our estimates are better. John's estimates are much better. I'll just put it that way. So these give us an idea. We have to wait for the 100, the WDE 100, which tells us our revenues, and we did receive that last Friday.
And we did.
And John is very, very set on the revenues. We're pretty comfortable with where they came in at. What we're not set on yet, of course, is the expenditures. 87% of our budget is salaries and benefits. We'll negotiate next week. That's when we can begin to set the expenditures and then put the draft budget together. In terms of expenditures, balancing the budget, nothing has really changed. Even with good news, we will still look at number one, saving through attrition, making reasonable reductions to staff where needed. We're still down 50 students overall, and so we'll look at every position. We have looked at every position. We've saved some areas and we've replaced some areas that we consider essential. So attrition is a big one. The other big funding savings for us is the ESSER funds. We received $3.5 million. We have 3 years to expend those. We have some strategies to use roughly a third of that this year, and then the next 2 years use a third also, but by that third year have strategies in place so we don't hit a funding cliff when that fund disappears. So we have, I think, a pretty good strategy there. Carryover, this year we, for the first time ever, talked about spending down the carryover to balance our budget. That's up in the air right now, depending on what happens with expenditures. I personally think we need to spend down some of the carryover so we don't get over 15%. How we get over 15% is if we underspent our budget this year. That would go to the carryover. If we get to 15%, potentially we've overspent that 15%. We'd have to look at places to put money. The board wisely approved a technology depreciation account, which funds can flow into, but once they go into that account, they only can be used for technology. So we lose the ability, based on need, what we think we need that for. It's never wise to do...
You lose the flexibility.
Yes, it's never wise to put a reoccurring expense on the carryover, so we're sensitive to that too. The last part that we were really counting on when we were looking at an 8.5% cut was our operational budgets. We were going to basically slash them to be as efficient as possible, basically to the bone. We could operate, but it would hurt. We don't have to do that now. We're comfortable that with the combination of the carryover and operational budgets and whatever is agreed to during meet and confer, we can balance the budget. Of course, once that's done, we'll bring that to you and show you how all that works out. Still good news. I can't help but say it's good news. The only bad news in all of this is we're still looking at a change in funding for the 22-23 school year. Next year is a budget session. They've already talked about a special session in July to solve the issues with educational funding. I hope they solve the issues with educational funding and not try to destroy education. Two big differences. You had some individuals in the legislature that believed there was a problem with education. I do believe, and everyone sees it, there's a problem with educational funding, a structural deficit of $300 million a year. That can be fixed without destroying what we currently do in the classrooms. That's the part where we have to be vigilant as a board and as individuals. What is taught, what is not taught, needs to be reviewed constantly. We have a quality product in Wyoming. I'd hate to think they destroy it because of a structural funding when Wyoming is still a rich state. Take care of education. Personally, we've had the discussion about taxes and paying for a little more to get equality. It looks like as it came down to the wire with several of the funding bills, 173, they solved some of the structural deficit problems. They made some cuts to education, and then they suggested some additional revenue, which were taxes. Nothing really dramatic. Roughly, it was a half-cent sales tax, only if the LISRA, the rainy day fund, dropped below $500 million. They don't anticipate that to happen at current funding for 5 years. So, and only if it dips below that $500 million. So I think they did some good work, but it was ignored basically by the majority because it didn't come into law. So that's a good starting point this summer. But anyway, that's a lot on educational funding. My message is the strategies that we've used over the years are still in place. What we don't use this year will still be in our back pocket for the future.
And we're still trying to avoid taking anything away from the classrooms.
Exactly. I think that's the good news. We do need to decide a date for negotiations. I tentatively talked to EEA about the 10th, which is Monday, the 11th, which is Tuesday. I know that's not a good date for our chair. And
I don't have to be there, we can have other representatives.
well, that's why we put it there. And the 13th, which is Thursday. Typically, we have 4 of you that negotiate. Our team is made up of 4 board members, and we can have 4 staff members. Typically, it's myself, John, and then one of the assistants if they would like to participate. So EEA will have the same number on their team, and it's been very, very positive. We usually have a light dinner first, and then we get into the meet and confer.
I probably could do either the 10th or the 13th if that's decided, but like I said, I don't have to be there if Tuesday's the best. Usually it starts at 6, I think.
5:30 for the dinner, and then we go until we're done.
The 10th, what do you want to do?
So are we limited to just 4 people from the board, or can you?
Yeah,
have
so
more?
if you want, I'm happy to give up a spot if somebody wants to go.
No, that's what I was asking. So if it was limited, we'd have to come up with 4. representatives.
If there's 5, I think it has to be a special.
Yeah, that, 4 means it's not a quorum, so it's not a noticed meeting.
And how it works is the 4 represent the 9, and then the 9 get a chance to approve the agreement in June.
Well, guess who wants to do it?
Yeah, who would like to do it? We don't need 4
Usually not a problem
either.
going over 4.
That's not usually
It's a
the
great
issue.
experience.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's date and time. I mean, if we define the date, I guess that's the big thing, you know. So the time's not the issue, it's the date.
So I guess, who would like to do it? And then we can.
I mean, I will do it if it's, you know, if it's on those other dates, but I'm perfectly happy to give it up too, so.
If we did it on Monday, the 10th, how many could do it? There we go. How about Tuesday, the 11th? How about Thursday, the 13th?
I can do that one.
Okay, you guys just need to pick a date then.
Monday? Monday.
Monday, the 10th. Okay, now we need 4.
All right, Jenny, Joel, Dave, who else down here?
I'll do it.
Dan?
Get that?
Jenny, Joel, Dan, and who else?
Is that 5?
David?
Dave.
Okay.
No, that's 4.
So you're going to be there?
No, I'm gonna let you guys do it this year.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay.
Okay.
You mean?
I'll make that happen with the EEA, and we'll send you out a notice so you guys, a refresher, how's that?
There you go.
And then we'll go. John, would you like to add anything about the budget? You will approve a budget statement tonight, so maybe you should have John kind of.
Yeah.
Tell us what we're approving,
Yes.
John.
Well, Madam Chair, members of the board, the budget memo just basically, first off, here's the lay of the land as it stands right now. Now, as I'm seeing it, we have a good idea of what the total amount is off the WDE 100. What we don't have is, on the revenue side, is how much is state and how much is local resource. And there was a Senate File 60 that splits your assessed valuation into like multiple years. And that's going to be an interesting thing. I have not seen, they sent a preliminary 100, but they have not addressed that. So that's going to be really interesting.
Here's my question, John. You're always able to predict the 100, like to a penny, practically. How close were you?
Well, here's the, some of the assumptions that I kind of were working with. We're using this year's ADM, the number of kids that we have. I have discounted the transportation, okay, because we're not doing the number of field trips and some activity a little bit. And there is a little bit of discount with special ed, although that may be the opposite effect. I mean, the problem is it's kind of a little bit of an art form right now. So, I'm putting in about 39.7 million, in round numbers. Then, as the memo says, interest income has been abysmal. I mean, it's not to say the least. I mean, I think I've knocked it down $160,000 because of you're just not getting anything out there. And then there's things like busing and things. So take a look at that. Take a look at that Matt Wilmar's memo. That's coming from the legislature. But always keep in mind, they are trying to maximize their expenditures, which are our revenue. So there's kind of he's trying to estimate high on his expenditure side, which is the revenue side for us.
Right.
Okay. The second thing, I would like to kind of steer the board a little bit on, we talk about a technology depreciation fund. I've met with our auditors, and as as we looked at that law, that statute, it says a technology depreciation fund or a special revenue reserve fund. And I'd like to steer towards that, because if the special revenue reserve fund, it's in the same statute, we could be using it for things that are beyond technology, but that relate to building and things. So
Seems like I thought we did that like a year ago.
But
We
did we
did.
identify it as a technology?
Yeah,
fund?
and so
I thought
we
we
may,
did, I thought we did the alternate as well. We added
Okay.
the alternate.
and so we want to make sure that it's not just for technology,
Right.
but we can also use it for,
Yeah, we did. We did that
okay.
like a year ago to build in that flexibility in case we had to.
yeah,
Yeah.
and things. So, in short, meet and confer is kind of the next hurdle.
Right.
After meet and confer, we'll get operation budgets out, and then we should have, things will start to solidify in June. I think we're not where I'd like it to be. I'd like it to be about a month ago, but I think we're in a good position for the circumstances. You just kind of go, it's been a crazy year.
It's been a crazy
So,
year.
okay, any questions that I can address?
Anyone have questions for John?
Okay. All right, and if you do, drop me a line.
All right, and then when we get down to our action items, then we'll adopt that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
In theory, we'll have a motion to do it anyway.
To adopt the memo.
Yeah, to adopt the memo. Okay, let's see. We have some excess special ed equipment and supplies that we need to get rid of. Matt, is that you?
That is me. Madam Chair, members of the board, you should have a list there of all sorts of old speech and language type resources, several old technology pieces, computers and such, and we're just always trying to make room for the new items that come in, things that are out of date. We'll either recycle or give away or dispose of appropriately.
Beanbag toss bags.
Toss bags. They're really good in some instances, but space taker-uppers in others. So.
Farm
Yeah,
friends game.
exactly. No, that's fine. And so on the action items, we just are going to be approving this.
Yes,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
we'll go ahead and move forward on that at a later date.
Okay, I think, actually, it's not on for this.
It's not on.
It'll be on next time.
Is this just a discussion?
Yeah, we'll put it on the consent agenda.
Okay, we won't touch it
For next
until
week.
we get consent next time.
There you go. All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
With all the, I guess I have one quick, with all the computers, are you like giving them or letting the teachers buy them discounted again and that sort of stuff?
You know,
Isn't there
with
something
these,
like
and
that?
I've got to double check with John, with these, we really can't make a profit. We can't sell them or anything like that, and they are quite old and really out of date. And
I was going to
can't
say, anything
update them.
past 5 years is not.
Yeah, and we have Adrienne Unerdal, she does a really good job working with Jaron, looking at this stuff, and it's just not worth really going into anything. So if people are interested, we also reach out to other facilities every once in a while and see if there is any benefit for them to have them, but we typically would not ever sell anything. It's just if somebody would like it, they can take it. If not, we work with Jaron to recycle the old technology and the paper and cardboard products we try to recycle as well. Sometimes we have students come in and it gives them a real-life job situation to work with and sort and do and work through those items as well. So it kind of has a recycled approach to that as well for students to get some benefit out of also.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, end of year activities. Who's talking about that one?
I guess I am, Madam Chair, members of the board. We just have a list for you of the activities that, toward the end of the year, the big ones for us, of course, are graduation. Horizon will be graduating on Thursday, the 27th at 6:30. They would love to have a couple of you there to hand out diplomas. They are following the same format they used last year, except they're inviting more parents. The parents will, if you're familiar with Horizon, this is outdoors. They will have a location on the field. Kids will walk past the parents, sit separated on the seats, and then The speakers are selected from the class, the senior class. It's always very impressive. I'm very proud of those kids, and if any of you would like to hand out diplomas, make sure you let Sherry know, probably ASAP, and we will get you on that list.
Okay.
The 29th, which is Saturday, is the high school's graduation, and we do have Principal Lester here. You do have a summary of what they plan to do. A little different than we did last year, but still outside, open. The reason why we're different than last year is we have more graduates. Good problem. So we couldn't squeeze all the cars on the football field. So now we're going to divide the football field and track areas into sections.
Family grids.
Yeah, family grids, there you go. Each graduate can bring 10 family members. Any overflow can use the bleachers. There will be a podium down by one of the goalposts. And again, speakers are selected from the graduating class, awards will be given, and then we will do the graduation thing. I thought it was great last year. The only thing that we have talked about is, and parents have agreed, if the weather's poor, there'll be a modified agenda, and we'll probably just present the winners, the awards winners, and the students their diplomas.
We'll just
and
shorten
maybe
the
avoid
program.
Yeah, we'll do quick if the weather's bad. But that's not going to happen.
It was fun. I hope it was, yeah, I mean, it was, I really liked having it outside last year. I mean, it won't look like, the movie Cars anymore, but that was the best part. And my understanding is the local radio station is going to broadcast again for people that can't come,
Yes.
which was fantastic.
And they will have a parade afterwards, which I think was very popular.
Yeah, the parade. That's awesome.
So Mr. Lester, Principal Lester has received permission from Public Health. If anyone's, the recommendation is following what CDC requires, which is if you haven't been inoculated, you recommended you wear your mask out, even outdoors. So we'll follow that.
Horizons was approved this afternoon as well.
Good news.
If you have your vaccine card fully filled out, you like wear it on the lanyard around your neck.
Yeah, we probably won't do that.
We'll just trick you. System.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. I know we have other awards and things coming up.
Yeah, if I may, sorry, Madam Chairman, we do need to find out who would like to hand out diplomas. I know we have at least 4 board members that have kids, right?
We've got seniors.
So Jenny, Joel, Jamie,
Cassie.
And
Cassie. Okay.
Yep, we have some.
Anyone else?
Well, Russell would like to, but he'll still be in
Oh, that's true. Maybe you can, well, I don't know. I won't say promise and we can do it via Zoom. But that'd be great. That's exciting. So, Merle, you've got your 4. Okay.
Great, thank you.
And just, there are a lot of activities coming to the end. We will have regional soccer here. I'd encourage you to go to those games. Our kids, very well coached, competitive, really fun. The Bear Meadows football field, soccer field, is a regulation-sized soccer field. It looks so much different on that full-size field as compared to the EHS field. Both the boys and the girls are doing well. It's a good year. Just to go out and see the facilities that we do have, and the care, and everything we've done to try to do the best we can with the structures we have.
Well, and Parks and Rec has done a lot to make
Yes.
sure that that field is soccer ready, so.
And it's starting to turn green, so we should be in shape.
Yeah. Asking to pour the water on it, so.
All right, and like I say, I know that there are other events and things coming up. In years past, we've had like retirement dinners and stuff. I'm assuming we're not doing that again this year.
No, what we'll do instead is I will attend the individual retirement parties at the schools.
Okay.
And we have, of course, a bell for those that are retiring.
Right.
I think it's a pretty cool little thing we do. I wish we could do the dinner, but just can't pull it off right now. So, again, we do, kind of is always sad to see all those retirees go. We have some pretty impressive teachers leaving, so, and support staff. So
I know, I always get
anyway.
teary. It's probably good we're not
Yeah.
doing the dinner.
I shouldn't be doing it either.
Okay, we also have, next is changing the date for the June board meeting.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I'd like to request that we change that date from the 1st to either the 15th or the 22nd. It's a bad date for me, and also it gives us 15 more days to figure out the budget.
So that's in the June? I mean, we don't have our budget hearing till July, right?
Yes, but you
Okay.
need to go through that first real budget.
So July, it's later in the month, it's the 6th that we'll meet.
Now, July is the
22nd.
third Wednesday in July.
So in July,
which
we
is
always meet the third
third
Wednesday
Wednesday.
by
17th?
statute for the budget.
Oh, for the budget. So why don't we go to the 22nd?
The 15th or the 22nd. I think the 15th that's the third Tuesday, if that will work. Same time.
I can make the
Same thing.
15th work. I will not be here for the 22nd. So Dave, you would have to take over if it's on the 22nd.
Then the 15th is perfect.
Let's do the same thing. Who can be here on the 15th?
May 15th?
Yeah.
No, June 15th.
June 15th.
Yeah.
So
So Dan can't?
No.
You can do,
Who can do the 22nd? Majority rules?
I will not be here.
Okay, it looks like the 15th. Sorry, Dan.
so I was going to say, the 8th is out for, because you can't do that,
Yeah.
that night, okay.
Stop by and I go through the stuff with you.
Yeah, the 15th is my off week too, so that's a much better week, so.
Okay, so do we need to vote on that later?
We haven't, we'd need a motion to amend the agenda. It's not,
The agenda, that's it.
Is that something we have to vote on? Jeff, do you know? We have to vote on board meeting
Changing the
day?
meeting?
Yeah.
Let's do it just to be safe.
Okay.
okay. Yeah, so when we get down to action items, we'll need to add that to the action.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Making a note here. Okay. Next is our discussion on Rule CKA. So I know that we did get, Mr. Phillips has informed me, we did get an email. There was some concern expressed that maybe all of the public comment that came into the school's website didn't get included into the public comment packet. And we want to make sure we do hear from the public. I mean, that's sort of critical for us.
With that, Madam Chair, members of the board, I do have an answer to that.
Okay.
Let me throw some things up on the big screens. Madam Chair, as you mentioned, we received notice tonight that not all the public comments that were given made it on the public comment sheet. So while the curriculum, K-12 curriculum was being discussed, I did a hunt. What you have here is, this was the original notice that was
Okay.
presented on our website. If you get down here, you'll see multiple ways to comment, and that's one thing we really wanted to do. And you'll see here this comment survey. My bad, I didn't think the link was active because it doesn't show up active. So it was not checked on the 30th, 31st of March.
But it was active.
It was active,
Okay.
which is good news because we did get some
Well,
comments.
Okay, well then, that makes
Yeah.
our choice really easy. I don't want to, I mean, we can do some things tonight, but I think when it comes time to adopt on our agenda and the action items, the best thing is to really continue, because we need a chance to
Exactly.
review those comments.
Well, I hope, Madam Chair, everyone realizes we are begging for comments. So this was not intentional, and I actually have the comments brought up. There were 10 of them that made the deadline.
Okay.
Actually 9, but we took them all. They were all in opposition. I have already uploaded them to the CK comment section.
So we can access them now
they're
after the meeting?
Publicly out there, so you
Okay.
can access them. What I would recommend is that as you go through them, if there anything that you believe there needs to be additional comments, that we add that to the board comments section and approve that next month.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is I don't want to approve our response to the comments if we've got more comments we haven't had to respond.
Exactly.
a response to.
Mr. Phillips, will that work?
Yeah, let's do it like that.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to bring up, Madam Chair, members of the board, is as you went through the comments, there were really 2 or 3 that said they didn't understand our reasons, the statement of principal reasons. And we talked last month about going through those principal reasons and making sure they were clear. So, Madam Chair, if it's okay, I'd like to show
Yes.
kind of where we are.
We have a proposed modification to those reasons, and quite frankly, we should probably keep the public comment open so they can respond to that as well. I mean, it just makes all the more reason.
I'm okay with that too. Let me find it, sorry. Give me a second. Would you like the red line copy or the clean copy?
With y'all.
The red line copy shows you all this.
The changes.
All the changes. It is definitely red. What I would like to do, if you guys are okay, is just go through the clean copy. I think we should read it. If you're okay with that.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Okay. Can everyone see that? Let's make it bigger. Statement of principal reasons for adoption of school safety and security rule CKA, CKA R1 and R4. The perfect way to protect schools from violence has not yet been discovered. However, governmental agencies throughout the United States have engaged in studies to help guide school districts in the endeavor to keep school children safe. Among those is the final report of the Federal Commission on School Safety, final report, presented to the President of the United States on December 18, 2018. The District and Board of Trustees here in the board of Uintah County School District Number 1 here in the district are adopting the rule CKA as one of the several safety and security measures to address general school safety and security, and specifically the threat of an active shooter or other mortal threats to students and staff in schools within the district in a manner consistent with the enabling authority of Wyoming statutes and the recommendations of the final report. Substance or terms of the rule. The board intends to adopt CKA and CKA R1 and through R4 in accordance with Wyoming Statute 21-3-132. The rules authorized employees who have successfully qualified under the rules to carry firearms in a concealed manner on or in property or facilities owned or leased by the district, subject to the terms, conditions, and limitations prescribed by state and federal law and the policies and procedures of the district. Basis and purpose of the rule. The district and the board will consider all possible options to ensure district schools are safe, orderly, and secure. In the face of growing violence, injury, and death in schools throughout the United States, the district and board know the district can no longer afford to be unprepared to protect the school community from the threat of an active shooter or other mortal threats to students and staff in its schools. The district and board have investigated the unique circumstances of the district and the individual schools within the district, the anticipated response times of law enforcement, the culture and acceptance of the community with respect to firearms, and the likelihood of a child accessing a deadly weapon in the home within the district. Each of these circumstances led the district and board to believe that a thoughtful and appropriate policy allowing trained staff to carry a concealed weapon is warranted and appropriate. The district and board have additionally provided other methods of physical and psychological prevention and protection throughout the district. However, having a method of protecting students from an active shooter or other mortal threats to students and staff prior to law enforcement's arrival is a necessary addition to the overall safety and security of the district and provides a solution to gaps in the overall response to security. The district and board have determined that an additional way for the district to ensure safety from an active shooter or other mortal threats to students and staff in the schools is through the adoption of Rule CKA and its attachments. The district and board believe adoption of CKA will add an additional option to schools and school employees that can safely protect students, staff, and the community in our schools from an active shooter or other mortal threats to students and staff. The district and board believe adoption of CKA will deter potential shooters and those trying to hurt innocents from entering district facilities, and thus will protect students and staff from such threats. The district is legally authorized by Wyoming Statute 21-3-132 to adopt rules and regulations allowing the possession of firearms on school district property by school district employees possessing a valid concealed carry permit and meeting all requirements of Rule CKA. And again, I would like to have you comment on it, but I think it's important that this does clarify why we've done it. I think it takes away some of the questions about we put some of the policies are ineffective. We're not saying that what we're doing is ineffective, it's just saying it's not everything we can do. As I understand it, and Mr. Phillips can correct me, these are our principal reasons for adopting this rule. We can change them, we can do what we need to clarify. That's why we listen to all the public comment. And we did listen to the public comment, we did make some changes. This is still not approved, so you guys can change it, add to it. Again, thank you, Chairman Bracken, for her work on this. I did a little, she did a lot, and I think it's well done. I think it clarifies what we do and why we're doing it.
I guess the question I have for the board is, did we miss anything? Any of the reasons why we feel like this is important?
Madam Chair, just to clarify, if we are going to extend the comment period and reopen that, then that should be by vote. And we should probably modify 8D, so I'd recommend the board do that. Sorry to interrupt.
8D.
Oh, yeah, on the agenda.
Yeah,
No,
sorry.
that was the plan.
Sorry.
No, the plan was, rather than approve, we'll still consider Rule CKA, but I'm going to be seeking a motion to continue, not a motion to approve. So, and I think the question I have is, I think we can adopt the statement, the reasons we're doing it, our purpose statement. We can adopt that tonight as part of that item D as well. We'll separate some of these things out, if that's okay with you. But I'm really glad somebody pointed out that we were missing some comments. Really glad about that. And then, to the extent we need to add additional comments before we approve that, let's do that, and we'll go from there.
Madam Chair, members of the board, if I may, just a clarifying question. In terms of extending the comment period, are we extending the comment period on the changes to the primary reasons, or the overall opposition or support of CKA? That comment period has been open and closed. Really, the only comment period I see now is the board's consideration of the comments they've received and allow them to respond to it and to allow them to comment on the principal reasons.
That is correct.
That makes sense?
I think it's all or nothing. I think if we open it up, we just open it up.
I would like to
We
extend...
want more comments, right?
But
then do we have to comment on the comments again?
When
we have to respond to every comment that's made.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to respond to the comments, and that's why I say, I would like to at least extend, if we're going to be meeting on June 15th, I would like to extend the comment period probably until, I don't know, is June 1st too late? Do we need to do a week before that?
Roddy, why don't you do it until
Give us 2 weeks to respond.
June 8th? That will give me a week to...
Well, let's do June 1st.
Okay.
Let's do June 1st. So when we get to that item on the action items, we'll need a motion for that too.
Okay.
So I'm breaking all this up.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll give them 4 weeks,
Yeah.
June 1st.
Okay. Let's do that. I think I've got my marching orders and the best idea. Let's move on to the next item, which is public comments. I don't see anybody from the public. Sheila, good.
So good.
Rick,
you want to be a member of the public?
I do.
Okay, come on up.
come on down. You're the next contestant on the Price is Right.
Madam Chair, members of the board, thanks for seeing me here.
I missed our presentation, and so I just wanted to come and say a few things.
Sure.
Before I quietly go on into the
Hit the
sunset.
happy trail.
Yes. So, first of all, some of you new board members, Rick Slagowski, I run the Central Warehouse Custodial Department, and I'm assistant to Jared Dennis. And I'm literally the guy that started in the mailroom and went to the boardroom. And many thanks to everyone here. Things I learned is surround yourself with great people. Take a look around. It's awesome. Bunch of good people here. I can't thank the custodial department enough. And as you know, with especially what happened this past year, they're rock stars. They kept kids in school, they kept clean schools, they kept people safe, healthy. And the maintenance department, they do a fantastic job also. And I think that's one thing I do hear from the maintenance department is they don't get enough recognition. You know, we're the guys, the gals behind the scenes, and they don't, although they do, you guys do say, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, they don't hear it enough. And it's those little things, especially to those departments, that mean a lot to those folks. And when I first came into the custodial department, my very first day, a girl walked into my office crying. She's like, I'm quitting. I'm quitting. And Dan Salroli was there before me, and I called Dan. It's like, hey, you want to come in here? He goes, oh no, it's all yours. And all I had was a Subway napkin to give to her for her tears. And we worked things out. She left the district, and then she wanted to come back after like 3 days, and I had to tell her no. And that's been a hard part with this job, is having hard conversations. Thanks to Doug for guidance through the crazy world of HR. But we've done a good job. Every time we've had to go to bat, we've won. And so I'm pretty proud of that. One of the things that Jaron and I ask when we do evaluations, and especially when we started once Mr. Davis left, and so we brought the guys in, had discussions with them, and we're like, Jaron and I asked, if you had a magic wand, what could you change? What's one thing you'd want to change? Well, if I had that wand, I would hope that in the future, when someone leaves, it's an opportunity to improve that department. My ask and challenge is when somebody leaves in a maintenance department, that your goal for the educational side is to hire the best educators. I think it should be the same way on the maintenance side. There are technicians, yes, it's going to cost the district more money to pay a salary, but what you get, it could be somebody that's an HVAC guy, technicians, electrical. If you look at our bills and what it costs us to pay those people we farm those things out to, it's astronomical. And if you actually had those folks in-house, you'd save a lot of money. And I know budgets are tough and things are hard, but there's always a way. And so Jaron and I have talked, and I know Jaron has discussed it with superintendents, but I think that's the same thing. You want the best for the district, and that's a way to do it and save the district money. So, and as far as the warehouse side, I'm leaving Brady. Brady's going to take over that department. Great guy. He'll do a great job. The warehouse is changing. We're seeing a lot less usage of the warehouse when it comes to purchasing just the everyday stuff, pencils, markers, just office type supplies. Yeah, we have plenty of toilet paper, so we're good that way. Paper products, they still purchase paper products from the warehouse, but when it comes to general office supplies, it's just too easy for them to click on Amazon. And it's hard for us to compete with that. But I do have to say, there was a time where I would actually pull that item, send a price comparison sheet to those buildings and say, look, we carry this in the warehouse,
and you just cost your school this much money by not purchasing it from us. And I think that's what we're seeing with the younger generation that's coming in, the younger secretaries that are coming into the district, is it's just too easy to go to Amazon and click and get it coming. And so we're seeing that change. And so I guess we've had these discussions to check the warehouse first. And so I see that the warehouse changing in that aspect. We might need to get rid of just that one section of the warehouse where they purchase, because everybody wants their own color Post-it note. Everybody wants their own pen. It's so specialized that just carrying a general pen, or a big pen anymore, it doesn't cut it. So just something to be aware of. So I just have one story. So I had a friend, or I should call him acquaintance. He started as a surgeon out here at the hospital, and he made $10,000 one day. He called me up. He said, "Hey, Rick, meet me up at Legal Tender. I'm buying dinner and drinks." And I said, I can't come. It's a school night. I have to get up early. I'm going to miss using that excuse. It's a school night. I've done that for a long time. It's got me out of some probably shenanigans that I shouldn't have been in. But he said to me, "You're just a warehouseman." And that was hard. And I've heard people say, "You're just a custodian." That's awful. It's not easy to hear. But, you got to define your own success. And working here has made me a success. And so what I have to say to that guy is, guess what I did? I just made a difference. So, thank you.
Rick,
Thank you.
Thank you. I feel badly that your team doesn't hear it enough, but we have been singing their praises all year long for the work that they've done. And
We relay it.
yeah.
We do relay it.
I mean, they did a phenomenal job this year, and it's not because they're just custodians. It was awesome. They kept us going, so thank you. Okay. I don't see any other public?
Actually,
Okay,
thought of
come on
something
up.
to say. So, Madam Chair, members of the board, Sheila McGuire with the Herald. But what I'm doing tonight is to encourage everybody here, if you're not already planning on it, go to the high school musical this week.
Fiddler on the Roof.
Fiddler on the Roof. Those kids are working so hard. I haven't seen my son more than like 10 minutes a day in weeks. I went up there earlier tonight because the parents were all taking turns feeding them because they're not coming home, so they don't eat. So we're all picking nights that we're providing food for like these 60 kids involved with this cast. I happened to see them in the auditorium practicing, and they're doing like the Russian dances from Fiddler on the Roof, and they're having so much fun, and they're working so hard. So,
And the plays start when?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday night at 7, and then there's a matinee at 2 on Saturday.
Fantastic.
2 different casts, so you could go twice and see totally different kids. So, but anyway, yeah, they're working really, really hard, and it was really cool to get to spy on them a little bit earlier today.
Thanks
and
for
see
the
what they're
reminder.
doing. So, go to the musical. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I like it.
Do we have to have tickets? Or is there restrictions on the?
Are there restrictions on the tickets, or how do we?
No, there are tickets available at the door, and Merle could probably tell you more about the limits in the auditorium, but from what I understand, the most they've ever had at a musical was like 300 and something, and they can have up to like 500 in the auditorium. And they're just masks.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Excellent. Merle, does that cover it?
Yeah, so we're not worried about that.
You're not worried about standing room only?
It is on your end-of-year activity list.
Yes, it is. Thank you guys very, very much. All right, we are down to our action items. I'm going to ask that we have a motion to amend the agenda to add item F, a change in the board date.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second.
Second, Joel.
Joel. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the agenda has been amended to add item F, the change in board date. All right, let's go on to the item A, which is personnel items. We have some resignations and some new
Madam
contracts.
Chair, do you want to amend it to include the statements about CKA, or are you just?
That's covered under the CKA.
Right under that CKA?
Yeah,
We're good to go.
We're good under that umbrella.
Okay. Madam Chair, members of the board, we do have 3 resignations. Michelle Robertson, John Fager, and Crystal Ross Kelly. We recommend that you approve those resignations.
Do I have a motion to approve the resignations as presented?
So moved.
Yeah, and a second by Jenny. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and then we have contracts.
Madam Chair, we recommend that you approve the following contracts: Timothy Schmoll and Tiffany Hogue. And we do have still a couple more to fill, but we're doing pretty well.
But we're getting there?
Yep.
Terrific. Do I have a motion to approve the contracts as presented?
So moved.
Second.
I'm going to give that one to Caleb.
Cool.
He's always quiet. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next, we have the approval of a special education-related service contracts. Is it just one contract, or are there 2?
There's multiple.
Oh, there's multiple, okay.
Yes, there's some.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the multiple special education-related services contracts?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, motion by Caleb, second by Jenny. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. And approval of the purchase of the buses. This is what we've been talking about for a while.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Director Dickerson is here if you have questions about this purchase. And then, George, why don't you just make a general statement about where we are? You need to come up here so they can hear you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Madam Chair, member of the board, I'm quite late this year on this. DARA has not come through with their applications yet, so I've been waiting for their approval. It saves us 25% per bus. They still have not come through with them, so I'm asking to go ahead and go through with action to purchase the 2 activity buses and give me permission to purchase them tonight. We're just getting too late in the year to put it off any longer. And I did get encouraging news from Ryan Hall from the DARA program Friday, and he said that it's highly possible we will get at least 1 approved, possibly even 2, but that really doesn't matter to us as long as we order it. The vendor doesn't care who pays for it. So we do have maybe a chance we can get these partially reimbursed.
We can still get those?
Yes.
Okay, and I mean, you've been talking to us about the buses, so I don't think anybody has any other questions, but thank you very much. Do we have a motion to approve the purchases of the buses?
Second.
Motion by Jenny, second by Joel. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's it.
Thank you
You're
very
approved,
much.
George. All right, we are down to Rule CKA. I am going to break this down into component parts. So, as we've discussed, I think I would like to start with a motion, if you guys are ready, to approve the purpose statement or statement of purpose.
Primary reasons, Steve.
Primary reasons. As amended, if you're ready for that, we'll take a motion to approve that one first.
So moved. I'll second it.
Okay, we have a Krista and a Jenny, and take your pick on which. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair, just the official title is Statement of Principal Reasons for Adoption of School Safety and Security Rule CKA R1 through R4.
Thank you very much. Yes, that. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, that statement has now been adopted. I would also like a motion to, before I continue the whole item, let me break this down. Let's have a motion to continue the public comment period to June 1st on the whole package, both on our comments on the comments and on the new statement and on the policy in general. So it would be the whole package?
We will, basically, the intent, we'll have all those avenues again, so CKA,
We'll just keep the public
comments.com.
comment period open again for another, basically from now until June 1st.
Now that
Okay.
we found the comments
I'm so
survey, we can
glad,
use that
too.
too.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion to continue the comment period.
Second.
A second by Mr. Peterson. It was Dan and Dave. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed?
What's that?
Any opposed?
Oh, no, any opposed? I heard all ayes. Thank you. Motion carries. We will forego adopting our current comments because we know that we may have to make more if more public comment comes in. So I guess the next motion would be to continue the possible adoption of Rule CKA until the next board meeting, which we know is going to be, in theory, June 15th, when we get to that item.
Yeah.
Until June 15th, at which time we can then adopt comments if necessary, and then adopt policy if necessary. Have I got that right, Jeff?
Yes.
All right, do we have a motion to continue the item, the possible adoption of Rule CKA until June 15th?
So.
Second.
I have a motion by Joel, second by Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and then we have the budget statement as presented by Mr. Williams and Mr. Thomas. We need a motion to approve the budget statement as presented.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Caleb. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And last but not least, our amended item, change to the board date for the June meeting from the 1st of June to the 15th of June. We have a motion to change the board meeting date.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those, any other, sorry, any other comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. I think that takes care of our action items.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You are more than welcome, and thank you for working with us and letting us know that we had that issue with the comments. I'm really glad we knew about that.
Yes.
Okay, we have board roundtable. Anybody have any roundtable they want to add?
I'll say something.
Derek, let's go for it.
So, it's May, of course, but more importantly, like, the school year is coming to a close, and it's been entirely in person. And I know I've said this probably every meeting, but it's been a blessing to be in school. It's been a blessing to have in-person learning. And it's been a blessing to have not just in-person in school, but athletics and activities. Like, we have a play, go see it this Saturday.
You had prom?
This Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yes, and we had prom, we had homecoming. The homecoming was a little different, but we still had homecoming. But it's been a great year. I mean, of course, it's not perfect, but it's the best we can do for a pandemic. So, another thing to kind of repeat what's been said, custodians are rock stars. I mean, there's been times when I've been at the high school and it's been almost 9 o'clock and I've seen them still at the high school working hard. And it's been really eye-opening for me. So custodians are rock stars, and I'm really grateful for what they do. And it's also the kindness to students and how they're able to connect with them. I'm really grateful for them. So if you see a custodian, make sure to thank them.
Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you very, very much.
So I'm going to say one thing. Mr. Slagowski, it is very tough to lose good people. Very tough. So you have to realize how important you were to this district. So, and you're going to be missed greatly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear. I mean, it's, you know, we look forward to going to those parties to see, you know, for retirees and but again, I get so teary that I just can't stand it. So I'm not going to cry here. I might, but, you know. But thank you, Rick, for everything.
I will try, Madam Chair, to just keep you informed when those parties are. If you have someone from a certain school you'd like to just
That would
go
be
say
nice.
thanks.
Thank you very much. I'd appreciate that. Okay, unless anybody else has anything, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second. We have Dan and Jenny. Any further discussion? I hope not. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you guys very much.
I have stuff for signature.
Okay.
No, I went in December, but now I haven't been there in a little while. I'm going to get this one.
Thanks. Okay. Good heavens, you haven't tried it.
December, and it's good. It's like nobody's there. Everyone's. Yeah, we went down.